Thank you. I can't tell you what a relief it is to see her the same size as I am.
I'm glad it gives you so much pleasure, sir.
Forgive my ignorance. But where are we?
We are on the flying island of Laputa.
I was flying, traveling through the air several hundred feet above the ground.
And how big was this flying island?
It was huge, at least a half a mile across, but floating gently through the air as though it were no heavier than a cloud.
And people lived on it?
Several hundred of the greatest minds in the universe. Living conditions were quite cramped. It was like a warship. Everyone lived in tiny cabins and only came out from time to time to the observation decks. Excuse me. Noble sirs.
These masters are engaged in contemplation of the universe. Do you wish to enter into discourse with them?
Well, yes.
If you'll permit me, sir. What is your opinion on the sun's health?
Well, it seemed all right last time I looked.
What about the spots?
Spots.
New volcanoes on the surface are sending out enormous clouds of smoke.
As the volcanoes become more violent, so the spots decay, and...
Yes, yes. Forgive my ignorance, but where exactly are we? See, if we're flying towards the sun, then we must be traveling west at the moment.
You think so? Oh, what a fascinating theory.
So I was...
An interesting man. You have obviously given them a lot to think about, sir. May I show you your cabin so that you can take rest before the end of the world ball tonight?
Yes, perhaps I am. End of the world? Did you say end of the world ball?
Home, breakfast. Home, breakfast. You're not going to leave the table until you've eaten something.
Do you see the harm he's done? Tom? Tom!
I'll see to him. I will not accept this behavior towards Dr. Bates, and I will not have you being disobedient. Please come out right now and eat your breakfast. I won't tell you again. Look, and I know why you're doing this, and it's not going to achieve anything. None of the things your father told you are true. He just made them up to entertain you. He's very ill. That's why he can't come home. I can't change that, much as I want to. Your silence will not help him.
What did they eat?
Perhaps they grew mushrooms. In the clouds!
Don't revel in your ignorance, please. The intellectuals of Laputa were far too busy having great thoughts to be burdened with the chores of farming. They would travel the lands, collecting brain taxes from their subjects below. The island would descend over a village or a state, and buckets would be lowered to be filled with food and drink and whatever else they wanted.
This is where you will sleep, sir.
But there appears to be no bed or table or anything that...
Now we must have you measured for your costumes.
Costume?
For the ball.
Brilliant intellectuals employed techniques
unknown to our tailors in the old world. Painstakingly, they measured the circumference of my ears, the distance between my toes, the length of my eyelashes, and even my shadow. Hard to understand, then, the result.
Hello. I hope you're settling in all right. I saw you in the ocean and ordered you winched up.
Oh, thank you.
I'm Prince Minodi.
Forgive me, Your Highness.
Oh, no. Don't bother with all that. Nobody else does. Everyone knows I'm the most stupid and ignorant person in Laputa.
Oh, I'm sure that can't be true.
I'm sure it can. The only reason I'm tolerated is that I'm the Raja's son.
I don't suppose it'd be possible to have an audience with your father. You see, I'm trying to find out how to get home.
Well, he's deep in thought, up in the observatory at the moment. But I'm sure he'll see you in the afternoon. I'm performing tonight, so I must dash.
You wouldn't want to see him in this condition. But if you try to visit him again, I know it will just agitate him further.
You say the same thing each day.
Because he gets worse each day. More disturbed and violent. I know what you're thinking. You believe that I'm deliberately trying to keep you away from him. Yes, you do, Mary. I only did what I thought was best for Lemuel. And yet as soon as I had taken him away, I suddenly felt guilty had I acted in haste. For selfish reasons. Perhaps I'm a coward. Perhaps I should have sailed the world. And then you would have chosen me. But when I see him now, how broken he is, I wonder perhaps if I am not the wiser man for all my cowardice.
If I cannot see him, I will write to him. Will you take him my letters?
Of course, Mary, of course. Answer me one thing. Do you really believe that he'll recover?
Yes. Yes, of course. Don't you?
I only wish I could say yes.
The Raja will see you now.
Well, why?
Ow, thank you. I can manage on my own. Thank you, that will not be necessary. Majesty, I am a traveler from... Excuse me, Majesty. I'm trying to get back to England, Majesty.
England?
You know of it?
Do you like it?
England, Majesty. It's my home.
No, the music. The music of the spheres.
I confess I strain to hear anything.
Ah, then we must adapt your ears so that they can hear more clearly.
I'm undeserving of such honor.
Yes, I suspect you are.
Please forgive yet another interruption, Majesty, but I really am desperate to get home. I was wondering, perhaps someone else might know how to get to England. It is a small island, but of unrivaled world importance.
You could try the academy. They know everything.
Everything that's worth knowing.
And much more besides.
And how will I find this academy?
You will find it smashed into smithereens. You will find it in 100,000 pieces. For I have compared the figures of the moon and the zodiac, enabling me to announce with complete confidence that a blazing comet will collide with the sun at 3:03 in the morning.
Good heavens.
That phenomenon coincides exactly with your arrival. What is your name?
Gulliver, Majesty.
We shall name this unspeakable catastrophe Gulliver's Orb.
Too kind.
I know I have failed you. I should never have agreed to send you away. But please believe how hard it was for me. I only want you to be well again. My deepest wish is that you will soon come back and live with us. To have you and then lose you again is almost unbearable. If you refuse to see me, then at least write just a few words. I will always love you.
How does one prepare for the end of the world? The Raja had commissioned a special symphony to celebrate it. Though I must confess, I found the music A little too intellectual for my taste.
I thought you were playing in the concert.
I was asked to leave. My instrument kept playing in tune.
Intellect isn't everything, surely, Your Majesty.
It is here. Well, at least the world is ending tomorrow.
The world about to end. That night I couldn't sleep. I lay tossing and turning, waiting for oblivion, trying to make my peace. Finally, I fell asleep. I woke the next morning. I jumped up and rushed to my cabin window. Clouds still scudded, sun still shone, birds still flapped. The world had not ended.
I wish I could share your excitement. Rather hoped it would.
The island was controlled by a giant magnet. By ingenious movements, it could be made to rise or fall. The only disadvantage to this, as far as I could see, was that whenever the lodestone was moved, all the compasses on the island moved as well. So the Laputans had absolutely no idea where they were going.
Where are we flying to now?
Well, the next collecting point is Empress Minodi's, my mother's estate. But when we get there, it's quite another matter.
Look apprehensive, Your Highness.
I just know there'll be trouble. Mother and father disagree about everything. She's a very down-to-earth woman. Father's always had his head in the clouds, so to speak. They've lived apart for quite a while. I had a very unhappy childhood.
Excuse me. Ah, Your Highness, what's happening now?
Oh, I was afraid of this. My mother's refusing to set up any brain taxes. Come on. Father.
If it's war she wants, it's war she'll get. I am applying my massive intellect to the matter.
I don't think Mother wants war. She simply doesn't think it's right we should take all her food. Not that I know anything.
We shall position ourselves over her land and deprive them of rain until the crops wither and die. I am a genius.
Isn't there a river running through the royal estate, Father?
I knew that.
The Raja and his intellectuals debated the right course of action, while the island bore down on the Minodi estate.
I wonder what my idiot husband will do now.
I have it! We must bomb them!
Bomb Mother?
Bomb your wife?
Bombs away!
Bombs. Very well. Two can play at that game.
She had ordered the construction of a massive magnet, tall as a house and mounted on a wooden truck, drawn by 12 cart horses. This was cranked upwards until it was aimed directly at the island. Then the horses started to drag the magnet away until...
Father! We're descending much too quickly and at a very strange angle. Not that I know anything.
Do you want to wear the dunce's cap again?
Shouldn't we just leave before there's any more trouble?
Right. Go to your cabin and read your navigation books. I think we should have lunch.
Lunch?
Or perhaps a plate of something to nibble?
Your Majesty, the whole island is falling apart. You have to do something.
I see no reason to rush into action.
Your Highness, what should we do?
I'm the last prisoners of a crisis.
No, you're not. What should we do?
If I wasn't so stupid, I'd suggest reversing the lodestone.
Brilliant. You're a genius.
Am I?
Reverse the lodestone! Reverse the lodestone! The island shut to a horrible halt for an instant, and the two opposing magnets sent it hurtling back up.
Rising again.
That totally vindicates my decision not to act in haste. By waiting, the problem has solved itself.
Interesting.
How are you feeling today? I'm sorry I missed your lecture. I hear it was quite spectacular.
How is Mary? When is she coming to visit me?
Give her time, Lemuel. This has been very disturbing for her.
Will she not even write to me?
I'm afraid not. In truth, I think she's frightened of you, of what you've become.
I need to see her. I know she'll understand if I can only see her and explain.
I think I can change her mind, but you must play your part as well, and accept that you're not yet well enough to receive visitors. Not today, nor the day after, nor the day after that. Your recovery will take some considerable time.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Your bag was delivered this morning with a note on it from my son.
Oh, thank you.
How is he?
Well, I have to report that your son has failed all his examinations and is considered to be a complete idiot.
Good. There's hope for him yet. Are you a man of great intelligence?
I fear not.
Excellent.
Compared to the brain of your husband, the Raja, my intelligence is negligible.
He's an imbecile.
But an imbecile of breathtaking intellect.
What use is a flower to intellect? If my husband had his way, there'd be no flowers. He'd tear them all up to measure their mass, circumference, and volume. Why don't you stay for the summer? Since I'm married, I've missed the pleasure of unintelligent male company.
If only I could. But I really must try to find the place they call the Academy, where I can get directions home.
The Academy?
You know of it?
Oh, I wish the place had never been built. My husband collected the most brilliant minds from all over the world, and then he installed them at the Academy.
Where's the harm in that?
They have brought ruin upon this whole country. Everything outside my own estate is devastated.
Why?
Because the Academy has decided that the perfect new world cannot be constructed until the old one has been totally exterminated.
I set off for the academy. There was no grand entrance, just a horrible gray slit of a doorway, cut into stone. I entered that part where the professors of speculative learning resided. The first place I came across was the School of Language.
Oh, come in, sit down. Now, speaking is, of course, a corrosion of the lungs and to be avoided. So I have devised a method whereby everyone will carry around all the objects he needs in order to converse and just point at them. What could be simpler? These two farmers are making a transaction to buy and sell a lamb. No, it's a conversation about the weather. About whether this farmer can walk his sheep over this other farmer's land. If I'm not mistaken, I believe this farmer is furious. Oh, no. Oh, he's delighted. He's proposing marriage, I think.
Excuse me, sir. I'm trying to find someone who can tell me how to get to England. You see, I have to get home.
If you have a question, go to the room of answers.
I passed through the School of Politics, where 3 out of 4 people were informers, accusers, or prosecutors.
Look at this. A seemingly innocent note from a boy to his grandfather.
My brother Tom has just got the piles. What does that mean?
Rearrange the letters. Resist. A plot is brought home. The tour.
They were mad. All mad. So obsessed with their own worlds that they had forgotten reality.
Excuse me. Is this the room of answers?
Ah, you've arrived at last. Here, put some of these in there.
I need to find... See, I need... Excuse me, what is it you're doing?
What does it look like? I'm extracting sunlight from cucumbers. Just another 8 years, and I'll have the problem solved. Stay and help? Oh, please stay and help. It can make it so much more exciting.
I saw people trying to build houses from the roof downwards, like spiders. I saw one room big as a cathedral where hogs were being trained to plow fields by digging up buried acorns. Hundreds of professors tackling every problem known to man. But no ideas were finished, and in the meantime, the whole country lay in ruins.
Is this the room of answers? Please, I have to know the way home. You know the way home, but you'll never find it. Because deep in your heart, you don't want to. No!
That's not true. Suck him in.
It's all right. I'm sure he didn't realize what he was doing.
No!
Down you go.
I now found myself in the most desolate place to which my travels had so far brought me.
You're insane.
Yes, I know.
I mean, you're insane to be outside the walls of the Academy, unarmed and on foot. If the Struldbrugs had found you before me, you'd be dead by now.
Who are the Struldbrugs?
They live in the caves beneath the volcano. They're all around us, under our feet. They torture and they kill for their sport. You'd do better to cut your own throat than let them take you alive.
Yes, thank you. I will remember that.
I'm the Lord of Blubdubdrip.
My name is Lemuel Gulliver, and I'm trying to find my way home to England. Though I don't suppose you've even heard it.
Of course I have. I have just ridden back from the port of Maldonado on the other side of the volcano. There's a Dutch vessel there bound for Portsmouth. It sails in a few days.
Portsmouth? Home?
I shall take you there.
Thank you.
For tonight, you must be my guest.
Oh. Yes. Thank you.
You're so lucky that I saw you before the Stolbrooks.
I bought you some candles. Despite your behavior, I do not approve of this treatment of you. But the other doctors have superiority over me. And they have determined that you spend a week away from human society.
A week? No, I can't stay a week in here.
Believe me, I'm doing everything I can to get you out.
You have to help me to get better.
Of course. And you have to trust me. Now, take this. It will help calm you and let you sleep. Just have some whenever you want.
Will you bring me paper and some ink? I'm going to write down everything that's happened to me.
Why, what a splendid idea. Alas, part of the punishment is to be forbidden these things. I'll bring you some chalk so you can mark off the days. Now, please, take the medicine.
Your health.
Do you live alone?
Quite alone. I'm an historian, you see. I need the utmost peace to study.
An historian. I've always believed the study of history to be the key to all wisdom. I would love to browse through your library.
Library? I have no interest in books. I study history purely from the source.
How is such a thing possible?
My dear friend, you look very tired. Quite exhausted, in fact. Do have another glass of wine.
Forgive my rudeness, but I'm suddenly very tired. I wonder if I might retire for the night.
Of course. Take your wine with you. It might help you to sleep. I think there's going to be a storm.
Did you sleep through the storm, sir?
Must have done. Where's your master?
He is resting, sir. He studies at night. He will join you for dinner.
Thank you. You mentioned taking me to the port today.
Did I? Oh, yes. Sadly, it's not possible. In the storm last night, a fence was broken and my horses escaped. But my servants are out looking for them. They won't have got far. We'll ride to the port tomorrow. Don't worry.
I was writing again to your father. I thought you might like to add a few words. Perhaps you will touch his heart where I can't. Tell him about your silent protest. I'm sure he'll recognize his own stubbornness in yours. You can even say how unfair I'm being, if you like. Write what you want.
I want him to come home.
I wonder, sir. Don't think me ungrateful for your hospitality. But when do you think we might go to the port?
My servants are out looking for the horses. Don't worry. We'll ride there tomorrow.
Tell me. When do you think we might go to the port?
My servants are out looking for the horses. Don't worry. We'll ride there tomorrow.
Did I ask this yesterday?
You only arrived yesterday.
It always seems to be dinner time. And I always seem to be sitting down and then asking, when do you think we might go to the port?
My servants are out looking for the horses. Don't worry. We'll ride there tomorrow.
The wine was drugged. That's why I could remember nothing. I drank none of it that night and waited to see what happened.
Are you sleeping now? Good. Arise and come with me. I stand at the gates of life and death. Come forward. Come forward, spirits. Here is life. Alexander the Great, great warrior, leader of men. Smell blood. Smell life. I summon you.
Why? I'm in the middle of fighting Darius. Who summoned me?
I summoned you, great leader. I wish to confirm, in all humility, some small details of your long and illustrious history. Our scholars, for example, record that you met a terrible death by poisoning.
No. I died of a fever brought on by excessive drinking. Where do you keep the wine?
Wait.
Alexander the Great. I listened spellbound as he boasted about his military genius and his strength and cunning until he got so drunk he fell over. Over the next few nights I bore witness to the resurrection of the greatest heroes of history. But I must confess, I was astounded to see how many villains had been raised to the highest places of trust, power, dignity, and profit, and how many revolutions in the world were due to the most contemptible accidents. Observing the ease with which these great men of history were summoned, I began to see a way in which I might gain my liberty. Come forward. Here's life. Life. Michelangelo, Mark Anthony, Leonardo, I summon you.
did these people get here?
I have no ideas.
This is outrageous. You know how difficult it is to make them go back.
Socrates, if souls exist after death, there's no reason to suppose they can't exist before birth. Even
Mark Antony! I command you to return! Cleopatra, you must go back, I beg you.
What's that? One of the Caesars, I think. I'm only trying to alleviate the boredom of my confinement.
I declare this territory to be under the direct rule of myself and my Macedonian troops.
I sent you back last night. Stay dead this time.
Advance!
Is there no end? What now?
I hardly dare say, sir, having seen your rage.
Whom have you summoned to?
I was curious to question Commander Hannibal on his adventures in the Alpine Mountains.
All right. Get out of here. Leave me alone.
The door's locked. I ran from that place. I ran until my lungs were bursting and I thought I would drop dead of exhaustion. How long had I been delayed? I had no way of telling. Would I be able to reach the port before the Dutch boat sailed? Did the port even exist, or was it another fantasy?
Yes?
Sorry for my bad behavior. Mother says to give this letter to my father.
Good news. I've persuaded the doctors to return you to your cell. The understanding that I take a more active role in your treatment from now on.
I've reconstructed my entire journal. But that's wonderful. It explains everything that has happened to me. And why I feel the way I do.
I see you have finished your medicine. We'll have to get you some more. Perhaps a little stronger this time.
You must show this to the other doctors.
Of course. Clean all this nonsense off the walls immediately.
Yes, sir.
Tom, what are you doing?
He's hiding them. He's hiding them.
Hiding what?
Your letters.
Dare to trespass on our land? Enjoy the view. It's the last time you'll ever see daylight. You're a guest of the immortal Stroldbrugs now.
Oh no. No, please, I have to get to the port. It's my last chance to get home, please. Wait! Wait, there's been some mistake. I was just trying to catch a boat home to England. I was not trespassing. Please let me leave.
Roll forward, you who seek immortality.
No, I don't seek it!
Grovel before the immortal gatekeeper!
What gift have you brought me? I can't quite see.
I'm afraid that I haven't brought one.
Nothing? You've come before me with no gift at all? It'll take me years to devise the manner of your awful death. Take him away.
No, wait, I do have something you might like. A giant wasp sting.
A wasp sting? Giant wasp sting. In 1,000 years, I've never seen such a thing.
Mary, I didn't expect to see you here. You should have warned me of your visit. This is not a suitable time.
How is he today?
Well, much the same.
You gave him my last letter?
Of course, I stood with him as he read it. Your letters mean a great deal to him. I know he reads them many times. Now, Mary, I understand how hard it is for you to stay at home and wait. But if he is really to fully recover, we must trust the doctors.
You're a liar.
I did what I thought was best. I understand your anger.
You do not.
Your letters would have upset him further. He's confused.
I'm taking him home.
Would that it were so simple. But once admitted, he cannot leave without a formal hearing.
Then I insist such a hearing takes place.
Of course. I've no desire to keep a sane man confined. I'll speak to the senior doctors. We'll do it tomorrow morning. Come and see.
One moment.
I don't anticipate any problem settling the matter.
In my grasp. Man's greatest desire to cheat death. What must it be like to be immortal? Never dying, never. Can you imagine it? Why, ordinary people must seem like flowers, blooming and dying in a few days. Immortality.
Welcome to the immortal world. This is the source of the life everlasting. Drink from this water, and you will never fear death. Never.
But I have to get home. There's a ship in the harbor. I only have minutes before it sails.
Minutes? What minutes? You have no need for such petty considerations here.
I was offered immortality, man's dream. With the fear of death removed, I could learn the truths of existence. I could get riches and wisdom. I could read every book ever written, study the movements of the planets and the stars. I could watch the rise and fall of republics and kings, and from the great depths of my knowledge offer advice to all. I could do anything.
It's true. I too have been there and seen what you describe. The Struldbrugs.
You have?
Then I'm not mad. No. And as I drank, I saw the king riding on a walrus high up in the sky.
Oh.
What is that? What have you been taking?
I don't know. It's medicine.
You're a doctor. What are you doing taking something when you don't know what it is?
I know what it is. Blood.
Drink. Taste immortality.
Why is your hand shaking so badly? What's wrong with her?
Nothing.
What's wrong with everyone?
Drink the water. You will defy nature. You'll outlive the stars themselves. You'll be like a god.
You can't see me, can you?
I'm alive. The water keeps us alive.
You're blind. You're all blind.
No, some of us can still make out shape and movement. We'll never die. That's what matters. We'll never die.
Never die. Never die. Never die.
That's all that matters. Cheating death.
No. No! I ran like the wind. Below me lay the sea, and the port was surely not far beyond. When I reached the jetty, I leapt!
I made it! I was going home. Home, finally. England. Surely now, after all the misfortunes I'd suffered, nothing could go wrong. That night I couldn't eat anything. Mary, I need some of my medicine.
No, you don't.
No. I feel terribly sick. My mouth is all red and swollen, and my arms, I can't lift my arms. Everyone's complaining of the same condition. I don't know if I brought the fever on board, but within a week it had spread throughout the entire ship. I got sicker and sicker, but I refused to die. I refused to die, not after everything I'd come through. Too warm and then too cold in the same instant. Of the officers, only 2 others survived. Bodies were just rolled overboard by people too weak to perform a decent ceremony. Everyone stopped working. The ship just drifted, sails down, and Mary, I must have some of my medicine.
You're doing so well.
In all, we lost over 3/4 of our men. We were forced to find a port and take on fresh crew, some real rogues. As soon as we were at sea, they took over the ship and imprisoned me and the other 2 officers below decks. It was only a matter of time before they killed us. That night, I escaped and jumped overboard and began to swim.
I swam for as long as my strength allowed, until finally, at the point of exhaustion, I was cast up on a deserted shore.
How do you feel this morning?
I'm still here, if that's what you mean.
Lemuel, you must be honest with me. We're different now. If you no longer care for me, you must simply tell me, and I will try to understand. a star. Let's get you ready for the doctors. Don't be afraid. Just speak the truth. Admit to the fantasies you've been having, but say that they're over now and they'll let you come home. Are you listening to me?
And yet disciplined. And please come in.
Yahoos!
Ladies and gentlemen, we brought before you here today one of our most exceptional patients.
Why are all these people here?
Why shouldn't they be? The governors of the hospital, students in medicine.
But you said nothing about it being in public.
Mary, I cannot reorganize the entire workings of the hospital for your convenience.
I want to go back to my cell. This place is full of yahoos.
What is your name?
What?
State your full name.
Lemuel Gulliver.
Now stand up, please, and then perhaps Dr. Bates will inform us a little about your condition.
May I say something first?
Yes.
My husband shouldn't be here. He's an intelligent and professional man, a doctor, then a ship surgeon. 8 years ago, his ship was wrecked, and he was the only survivor, washed up on a strange continent. Near starving, forced sometimes to drink seawater, he suffered delusions. Without human companionship, he invented people to talk to. Most of us might do the same, faced with the terror of being totally alone. He's been very sick, but he is a sane man, good man. And he belongs at home with his family.
No, please, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to offend you. If you're a magician, as I think you are, and you've changed yourself into a horse for some reason, I want you to know that I'm just a poor Englishman. I'm lost and alone, and I would like to ride on your back to the nearest village or town. No, wait!
Please wait.
Before you, one of the most unusual cases that it has been my sad privilege to examine here. I have, of course, my own observations about this unique case, but I would prefer that the patient explain a little first in his own words. I'm sure you will find what he has to say instructive. Come, come. This hearing is at your request. Everyone is waiting. What is it to be today? More giants or flying islands?
I don't want to say anything.
Really? Surely you must have had some more fascinating conversations with Plato or Aristotle. Please don't disappoint us. Nothing to say. Very well. Escort him back to his cell.
I don't eat hay.
I beg your pardon?
I don't eat hay. No, thank you. Do you have any milk? You know, from cows. Mm. Mm.
Is this where I have to sleep? Well, at least it isn't with those horrible savages.
I can't sleep here. You saw how they tried to attack me. And the smell is unbearable. Well, what if they try to set on me in the middle of the night? Those...
Yahoos.
Yahoo! Yahoos? Man. I'm a...
Yes, man. You can talk. What sort of being are you? Are you a horse?
William!
Hunim.
William!
That's quite enough of that, thank you.
Horses that talked.
Horses that built houses, that milked cows, that kept pets. Silence! This is a medical examination, not a theatrical performance.
I know that any man would laugh at such a story. But listen to me before you pass judgment. In the name of reason, which is surely the purpose of this assembly, I ask for your attention.
In the name of reason, then, tell us these horses didn't talk.
They talked.
Over the next few weeks, I struggled to learn and understand the language of the Houyhnhnms. I was a poor student, and Mistress, the mare who first found me, learned to understand my speech far more quickly than I hers. They are the most extraordinary creatures that I or any man has ever met. They have no vices, conflicts, or disagreements. Everything is resolved by the exercise of reason. Simple reason. The name Houyhnhnm itself means perfection of nature.
You're not here to lecture us, you know, but to be examined. Sit down, if you please.
They have a custom, strange at first, that when two of them meet, there should be a short silence before either of them speaks. I found this made me consider what I had to say much more carefully. I tried to offer Mistress some explanation of our society, how I was a doctor, trained in the healing of the sick. But she found it hard to understand the concept of disease, something totally absent from the Houyhnhnm society. I can't even begin to describe to you all the sicknesses possible in the human body. We feed upon 1,000 things which work against each other. We eat when we're not hungry. We drink strong liquor without the provocation of thirst. Often when I spoke to her thus, Mistress seemed uneasy, finding it hard to believe my words. When I tried to explain what I meant by lying, she was shocked. She told me the gift of speech was to make us understand one another, to receive information. And if anyone said the thing which is not a lie, then that purpose, gentlemen, was defeated.
Sir, what is your implication?
None, sir. I merely point out that she could conceive of no reason or purpose to lying, something which is so perfectly understood and so universally practiced among human creatures. It was with the greatest difficulty that I could make her understand what I meant by power, government, and war. Law and punishment and 1,000 other things had no equivalents in their language. Horses in my country are like yahoos in yours. We keep them as beasts of burden. We put plates of iron on their feet so they can walk on our stony roads, and saddles so they can be ridden.
Yahoos?
They have no choice. Horses are usually broken and tame when they're very young. The males are generally castrated when they're 2 years old to take down their spirits. If they show any disobedience, they are beaten with a whip or kicked with spurs. We use them to pull heavy loads or to plow our fields. Rich ladies ride them round parks, and sometimes we race them for our entertainment. And when they get too old to work or to be ridden for fun, they are butchered, skinned, and sold for dog meat.
And what's wrong with that? What is your argument, sir?
I think the proposition being advanced is that this society of horses is superior to our own. Is that your suggestion, sir?
I'm not suggesting it, I'm insisting on it. The yahoos, on the other hand, seem to have no virtues whatsoever. In the Houyhnhnm language, there is no word for evil, but everything that is bad has yahoo added to it. There are a lot of such words. Fortunately, the Houyhnhnms could see no resemblance between my own outward appearance and that of the brutish yahoos, until one morning.
Yahoo! Yahoo!
No, I'm not a yahoo. These are my clothes. They cover my body. Everyone in my country wears clothes.
Why?
Well, because of modesty. Imagine if men and women went around naked all the time. We'd be preoccupied with sex.
Yahoo!
No, we're civilized. We wear clothes to... Well, clothes tell you how important someone is. If you're wealthy, you wear clothes of rare, flimsy material like silk or lace that need to be cleaned constantly by servants. And of course you buy new clothes all the time because, well, obviously for a lady to be seen wearing the same dress more than once would be unpardonable. I don't have any dresses, of course, because, well, I'm a man and men don't
wear dresses. Oh dear. Can we change the subject?
Are you telling us, sir, that this horse friend of yours did not understand the need for clothes?
Precisely. Do you?
What do you mean by that?
Why should we not be seen as God made us?
Because, as every Christian knows, it would be immodest.
Meaning that these ladies and gentlemen would be incapable of modest behavior if they were not wearing clothes? That they would be yahoos? Some of the Houyhnhnms agreed with you, sir. They were now concerned that I was really a yahoo and should be treated as one. I told Mistress that if she would spend a few days with me in a study of these creatures, it would become quite apparent that I had no more in common with them than she did, and we could clear up this confusion once and for all. Day 1, leadership. In each herd, there was some kind of ruling yahoo. As the basis of any society is organization, I wondered how the yahoos picked this leader. Whereas in our country, we seek to elect the most intelligent amongst us, the yahoos picked a leader more mischievous in disposition than the rest. This leader would then choose a favorite, as much like himself as possible, whose job it was to lick his master's feet in posterior and drive the female yahoos to his kennel.
What are you implying?
He would continue in office until an even worse candidate could be found, at which point he would be discarded. And all the yahoos in the district would come and discharge excrement upon him from head to foot.
I am warning you.
Day 2, aggression. The bestial yahoos would fight for no reason at all. Whereas, as I explained to Mistress, in our society we only fight for a very good reason indeed. Such as, well, because our enemies are much weaker than us, or we desire all their land. Day 3, mating. I fear I may shock you with my personal experience of their practices, but I believe it's vital that you share my deep revulsion at the antics of our neighbors. I had already observed that the red-haired males and females of the species were more highly sexed than the rest. So I should have been on my guard. It was a scorching hot day, and I thought the yahoo herd had moved on. So I decided to take advantage of the cool water. What frightened me beyond the violence itself was the thought that I could be mistaken by a female on heat for another yahoo. Could I deny my true nature any longer? Was this the real man, a brute? When I caught sight of myself in the lake, I wanted to turn away in disgust.
I've had enough of this nonsense. I think we know enough.
The following day, there came a terrible temptation. Mistress took me further down the seashore to a cliff I'd never visited before, where the yahoos were digging stones out of the clay. She explained how the yahoos coveted these strange rocks and asked me why. In my country, they're called diamonds.
What are they for?
I have no idea. Primitive people like shiny things.
They have no value.
None whatsoever. Liar. What a liar I was. That night I made a crude pick from a flint head. I crept out of the compound straight back to the quarry. All night long I hacked away to get at the diamonds. Do you know why I left my wife to go to sea? Do you? Because I couldn't earn enough as a doctor at home. I had to take a surgeon's wages from a shipping company. And here I was in this strange country, holding a fortune in my hands. I'd never have to work again. I'm rich. Rich. I can have anything I want. But what did I want? Since my journey began, I'd thought of only one thing. Home. Of waking up again in my own bed with my wife and all the things that I knew around me. And now I was rich enough to give Mary everything. Except I couldn't leave. Now that I could have anything I wanted, I knew with absolute certainty all I wanted was to stay here. I would rather live with these Wynnum than with my own wife. Without other people, I found that I had lost all my vices. There was no one to envy or lust after or steal from or flatter or brag or lie to. And if I left this place now, what could happen? Except my corruption. That's my grand country house. That's my fine clothes. And the servants to dress me. And my hunting and my fishing and my vintage wines. Because I'm never going back. I'm going to become a Wynnum. That night I slept with a peace I hadn't experienced for years. I didn't hear the yahoos creep up and steal my clothes. I didn't even hear the destruction until it was too late. Yahoos on the rampage. They'd found a trough of fermenting apples and had drunk the lot, then charged through the settlement, smashing everything in their path. The Wynnum Council quickly reached its irrevocable judgment. I must leave them forever. Until I left, I must remain with my own kind. How long do I have?
Until the full moon.
Mistress! Is that it then? Am I really just another yahoo in the end? Am I? Am I just another animal? I worked long days. Now I had resolved to leave, the sooner the better. I built a small boat of skins, and as the day to leave grew near, loaded it up with vegetables, rabbits I had caught, and other provisions for the journey. We love words, we humans.
We use so many so easily until they've lost all their meaning. But when I say, as that last day dawned, my heart was breaking. I have never known such awful pain and loneliness.
You are more Queen Aim than Yahoo.
As I sailed off, the Houyhnhnms cried out to me from the beach. I didn't turn to look. It is a sound that will stay with me for the rest of my life. When I could no longer see land, I threw all my food overboard. I had decided not to try and return home. I couldn't live with humans again. After many hours, a shadow came across my boat, and I realized that death had come to claim me.
Go away! Go!
I stayed in my cabin the entire voyage, talking to no one. I ate the foul Yahoo food only to survive, and I washed myself whenever I touched anything, until I reached England.
This really is the most extraordinary story, coupled with Dr. Bates's other notes. I've never heard a story like it.
When my husband came here, he was very disturbed. And I think he's being encouraged to believe his fantasies really existed. But that's over now. He's purged himself. Lemuel is not insane. I want him to come home. And I know that is his wish also.
You say your husband is not insane. Then do you believe his account of these fantastical stories?
I believe he has suffered greatly.
But do you believe him? It is a simple question.
I believe he has much to teach us if we would listen.
I ask you again, do you believe him or not?
Who in this room has been harmed by him? You ask me if I believe him. And my answer is this. I believe in him. I believe Lemuel is a truly good man. I believe he's an honest man. And I believe his journey has made him a better man. Tell me the crime he has committed that merits this terrible punishment. What if his stories are true? What if they're not? What does it matter? He had a thirst, a raging, unquenchable thirst to see the world and drink everything in it. And now that thirst is quenched, and perhaps he has drunk more than any man could swallow, but who are we to judge him? Who are we to doubt his word and compel him to remain here? You have asked your questions, and now I ask mine. Who
in this room has been harmed by him.
He is harming himself, and it is our Christian duty to keep him here until we cure him.
Your motives for keeping him here are anything but Christian.
How dare you? How dare you question me? He's insane. He must be kept locked up. He's a lunatic, gibbering against mankind, tearing down all shreds of decency and modesty, filthy in word and filthy in thought. There's a heart burning with hatred against the whole human race, and a mind fueled with images from the dunghill. Are we to stand by and hear our whole nature libeled and besmirched?
I've tried only to speak the truth as I saw it.
What arrogance! What presumption! To show men what they are and to teach them what to be. You are either a liar, sir, or a lunatic. Which is it?
Gentlemen! Gentlemen, this is a hospital, not a prison, and our ambition is not to confine people, but to cure them. Lemuel Gulliver, you are clearly suffering from a disease of the mind. This journey never really happened, except in your own head. And all we ask is that you acknowledge this. When you have done that, then you may leave. Now, what do you say?
Then I may leave.
Of course.
That's all you have to say, Lemuel.
Every single thing I have told you is the truth and happened to me.
Why do you persist? You say you saw all these things that no one else has ever seen, been to all these fantastical places. Have you one shred of proof?
I did have.
The answer is no. He has no proof.
Isn't it enough that I say they're the truth?
No, it is not enough. We shall review your case next year at the same time. Keepers, take it back to his cell.
No, listen, I am telling you the truth. Why won't anyone believe me? Away.
Who is this child?
Thomas, what are you doing here?
Go back to your mother, boy.
He's gone. But he was in the garden eating grass. I found him again this morning.
I never saw Bates again. I heard somewhere that he had gone abroad, but I don't know if it's true. The house is still in his name, but he never returned to claim it. The first money I laid out when I returned home was to buy 2 young horses. They understand me tolerably well, and I converse with them every day. It was many months before I could look in a mirror without feeling some disgust at the sight of a human creature. But my family let me walk at my own pace and showed me a kindness that is perhaps greater than reason might allow. Until at last I was able to play with my son Tom like a true father. and be again a husband to my wife Mary, to whom I owe my life and freedom. All the Yahoo vices I can begin to accustom myself to once more, except for pride. That I cannot tolerate. I see myself for what I truly am. I have lost 8 years of my life, and yet the moments I have had, the marvels I have witnessed, the wonderful truths I have seen. You see, when night falls and you close your eyes to sleep and dream, I have seen the things that you can only dream about. I have been there. I was lost at sea for a long time, but I have been there. Oh, yes. All the way and back.